Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Matt Bergman. So, sometimes what we can do to increase engagement in our classroom is provide learners with choice. And we often do that through choice boards or giving them an option for demonstrating their understanding. That's called flexibility in the product, right? So, imagine that we want students to explain the three major causes of the American Revolution. Well, they could do that through a PowerPoint presentation, a podcast, even an essay. But what about when you don't have much flexibility at all? What I like to call flexibility in the process. So, I want to give you some examples of how you can be flexible when you don't have a whole lot of flexibility in your assessment. So, taking this idea where students have to write an essay, what could we actually do? So, this is a great example right here. So, for example, we might actually have where you have to write this essay, and in this essay, we have to go through and select an article and write an objective summary of it. Now, what we could do to provide students with different options is we could provide them flexible materials. We could provide them a digital copy and also a paper copy. Then we could also provide students with tools for analyzing the text, such as using highlighters, using a graphic organizer to help organize your thinking. We could even use a checklist to help guide them as they're going through the essay. Some may use it, some may not. And even providing learners with rubrics, um, even the opportunity to work in small groups with me. So, constructing the essay, they might want to handwrite it, they might want to use their keyboard, they might want to even speak it out. So, what would this actually look like if we did this ourselves? So, I wanted to share with you. This is my UDL essay that I put together, and I thought about those things, and I thought, okay, first of all, when we're putting together an essay, we have to put this together. I thought about providing scaffolds and supports in the sense of here are some suggested steps, right? Step one, step two, step three. But we know that all writers don't necessarily follow the same steps, but this could be helpful. So right here for researching and brainstorming ideas, I provide some suggested tools, like maybe using Post-it notes or using one of these graphic organizers. Then we get to the writing piece, where in the previous example, we saw that there were some different ways of doing that. An additional support that I put in place was saying, hey, you know what? Maybe what you want to do is you want to use a scaffold and support in the idea of an essay or template. So this could be something that could be really helpful. If you don't necessarily want to go that far, you could also consider adding what are called sentence starters. So sentence starters are great ways of helping students write or even discuss topics. This is called the 5 Ws and 1H sentence starter tool, and it's been modified for a particular assignment, but I want you to notice that it has the 5 W questions and the 1H question. So to analyze the text, we can say, well, who created the text? Well, fill in the blank, created the text. The text is mainly about, it was created in, the text is good, bad, important, because. So this helps students construct sentences and help organize their thoughts. Something else that I designed with the UDL essay is I thought about frequently asked questions that students might have on a regular basis. I mean, we always get them, the same thing over and over and over again. Instead of repeating myself over and over and over, what I started doing is started embedding maybe two, three different frequently asked questions. So, for example, where can I learn more about universal design for learning? Well, what I did was I created this. This is an interactive table that they can click on and they can go and they can see some of these resources. I just vetted a few just in case they needed it. And I also gave them some different ideas for how to organize their paragraph. Now, you might say, well, this is kind of over the top, but these are things that our students have common questions about, may need additional supports. What if you have a student in class that requires some of these additional supports? You have them built in already. So, how did I actually design this where you could hyperlink to frequently asked questions? I want to share with you how to do that. So, you just design your frequently asked questions and you change it to heading 1, 2, or 3 format. And then what you can do is you can scroll all the way up to the top and put your cursor where you want your table of contents to go and just simply go insert. And then you could insert a table of contents, which you see right down here at the bottom. right? So that's one way of doing things. But another little benefit for either using Microsoft Word or using Google Docs is that you have an outline that's automatically built in when you use heading formats. So now you can simply click and go to those areas simply by a click. But what about the math classroom? The math classroom, how could I actually provide some different examples right here in a math setting? So imagine right here, we have this traditional writing prompt. Well, providing students have to solve this math problem. However, providing students with options for how they solve that math problem could provide some flexibility. For example, maybe they use traditional graphing paper. Maybe they use Desmos to help them be able to graph this out. Maybe you have them have some manipulatives where they can move things around on their desk. Perhaps you decide to give them context instead. So maybe you give them this example right here or an alternative example. For example, if they're buying tickets to a baseball game, maybe it would be helpful to provide an exemplar of another type of math problem so that they could actually see what exactly you're expecting. Even providing something as simple as a word bank can be extremely important for helping students develop construct relevant options. So this is a great way of helping students when there's not a whole lot of flexibility. We can still build in those types of choices.